And they're off in the Coral Welsh Grand National of 2013, and Tidal Bay has dropped right out the back of the field early, and so too is Well Refreshed on this long run around to the far straight and the first of the 22 fences. And towards the outside, Ace High has taken the early lead. Also right up there is Hawke's Point in the early going, so too Wick Hill in the gold and green hoops, Highland Lodge and also T for 3 right up there. Knock a Hand is next, and then towards the inside is Mountainous as they make the run now towards that back straight and the first fence taken down the back. And it's now Highland Lodge and Leighton Aspel, a 2 times winner of this race, who's now taken the lead over T for 3, last year's runner-up. And then out just a little bit wider to these is Ace High as they now reach the first of these 22 fences in the Coral Welsh Grand National. Tidal Bay still settled right out the back of the field as they crossed over the first. Harroway at the back was also a little ponderous as they go on now towards fence number 2, and this is the first of the open ditches. Hawke's Point, T for 3, Highland Lodge through on the inside. Knock a Hand with the blue blinkers out wide of Ace High. These are followed then by Red Rocco as they go over fence number 3. Tidal Bay was last, Well Refreshed last but 1. Harroway was last but 2, and Gooniella is also towards the rear with Hey Big Spender. On towards the next they go, midway down the back straight. T for 3, and on the inside Highland Lodge the first 2 over that plain fence, followed by the red with the white cross belts of Hawke's Point. A little bit wider is Ace High, and wider still is Knock a Hand and Richard Johnson, followed then by the green colours of Tour des Champs, who's just stalking that leading group with Mountainous 2 on his inside, and then Amigo. Red Rocco out a little bit wide on the track, followed by Vintage Star. A break of a couple of lengths the grey Chartreux as they go over another plain one towards the end of the back straight. On that one's outside as they crossed over that fence was One in a Milan, followed by the green diamonds of Merry King, who's making up just 1 or 2 places. He is then being followed by Wick Hill, who's now been shuffled back through the field. Goulane then towards the outside of Hey Big Spender as they now begin to make the descent, which will take them out of the back straight. Tidal Bay is still at the back of the field together with Well Refreshed, and so too is Harroway. So they're now on the run, which will bring them into the home straight the first time. Highland Lodge has the lead. The blue headgear of Knock a Hand towards the outside in second. Then the stripes of T for 3, Hawke's Point, and out a little bit wider is Vintage Star. Red Rocco very deep out on the track. Then Mountainous 2 on the inside. He's got the noseband, followed by the green and white stars of Tour des Champs, followed by the blue and white of Amigo, and then towards the inside rail, the grey Chartreux as they get over the first fence taken in the home straight, at which they were all safe with Tidal Bay still out the back of the field. They go on now towards another open ditch, and as they go to it, it is Knock a Hand towards the outside who emerges with the lead over that open ditch, and a very bad mistake there by Tour des Champs. Tour des Champs was the one who made a bad mistake at that open ditch, but survives. Going now towards another plain one. It's Knock a Hand and Highland Lodge who are the first 2. Towards the outside, jumping through to take third, was Vintage Star. T for 3 is in 4th, and Red Rocco out wide is in 5th. On the inside, Mountainous in 6th, and Hawke's Point in 7th. Amigo is racing in 8th as they go over the fence, which will be the second from home in a circuit's time in the Coral Welsh Grand National. Harroway's been pushed long at the back of the field, weighted with is Well Refreshed, and so too Tidal Bay as they go over the fence, which will be the last in a circuit, and it's Knock a Hand who has got the lead. So they have a circuit to go in the Coral Welsh Grand National of 2013, and it's Richard Johnson and Knock a Hand who has got the lead. On the inside, Highland Lodge is in second. Towards the outside, Vintage Star is in third, and T for 3 is in 4th. Mountainous in 5th, and Hawke's Point in 6th. Red Rocco is in 7th. Amigo is racing in 8th, and Merry King is in 9th. Then towards the inside, Chartreux is in 10th, and pushed along then in 11th place is Tour des Champs as they make the run down the hill. Goulane and Gooniella are next, followed by One in a Milan towards the inside. Wick Hill is being ridden along, followed by Hey Big Spender. Then Tidal Bay, Well Refreshed. Towards the outside, Ace High has lost a very good early position, and he now only has Harroway behind. So they climb through the halfway point. They've jumped 11 more fences to take in the Coral Welsh National, and Richard Johnson bidding for his second win in this race. He's on Knock a Hand, and he leads now by a length and a half over Highland Lodge in second. A further length and a half away in third is Vintage Star as they go now towards fence number 12. Knockerhand will lead. Hine Lodge in second. And then in third place, Vintage Star. T for 3 jumped it in fourth and jumped it well. Mountainous and Hawks Point. And then towards the outside is Red Rocker, who has now been pushed along as they go now towards another open ditch. And over that one, the leader was still Knockerhand out in front. A very bad mistake by Well Refreshed, who had a nibble of the Chepstow turf. And tailing off out the back is Ace High as quickly they go over another plain fence. Knockerhand leads. Vintage Star in second. Island Lodge in third. T for 3 is in fourth. Hawks Point is in fifth. Mountainous 6. Amigo now is in seventh as they cross over the next plain fence down the back. That leading group have followed after Mountainous towards the outside by Tour des Champs, who's got reminders but is trying to stand indeed on the outside. It's now picking up Mary King, then Gooniella and Chartres, and then Tidal Bay, who's just beginning now to creep into a little bit of contention. He's on the heels now of One in a Milan as they now make the run down the hill towards the sixth from home. And it's Knockerhand and Richard Johnson who lead. Highland Lodge jumps that one really well in second. Hawks Point was over in third. Vintage Star in fourth. T for 3 has now been ridden along in fifth. In sixth on the inside is Mountainous, followed by Amigo in seventh. In eighth place is Mary King. In ninth is Gooniella around the outside of Chartres. Then Tidal Bay towards the outside of One in a Milan, and a break of a couple of lengths back to Gillane, and the others now are struggling very badly as they leave the back straight. Pulled up in the back straight was Ace High. Also pulled up now is Tour des Champs as they make the turn in. They've now got just 5 more fences to take in the Coral Welsh Grand National, and it is Knockerhand who's tackled now by Vintage Star, and around the outside Hawks Point. These are the first 3. Highland Lodge is in third, followed by Mountainous, who's got the noseband. He stalked his stablemate into the home straight. T for 3 is towards the outside, and next is Mary King. After Mary King on the inside is One in Milan, and then Amigo and Tidal Bay. They've gone over the first one in the home straight. A new leader, it's now Ryan Mania and Vintage Star, who have picked up the running to Hawks Point. Mountainous is travelling really well for Paul Maloney, just in behind that leading duo as they got over the open ditch, and it's now Hawks Point towards the outside and Ryan Mahon who have come through. Mountainous on the inside, and between those two Vintage Star. Back in fourth is Mary King, and Tidal Bay is still beginning to stalk them as they go over the next, and that was the third last, and Hawks Point had the lead. Mountainous is driven for the first time. Back in third is Vintage Star. Tidal Bay begins to loom on the outside. The second from home in the Welsh National, it was Hawks Point who had the lead over Mountainous in second. Tidal Bay on the outside. Now Daryl Jacob has to go through the gears. On the inside, One in a Milan. Here's the final fence in the Welsh National. Hawks Point, Mountainous jumps the lead. Tidal Bay towards the near side. A half furlong to go, and it's Mountainous who just has the lead over Hawks Point in second. Tidal Bay is back in third. They've got 100 yards to go. It's Mountainous out in front, and it will be Mountainous who wins the Coral Welsh Grand National. A second win in the race for trainer Richard Lee. It was Mountainous over Hawks Point and Tidal Bay, then One in a Milan, followed by Mary King, Vintage Star, Amigo and Gooniella.